some of you might not be aware of this, and it's only going to get worse if the whites don't overcome their anger and start speaking up. Just don't be angry. I want you to think about how human beings treat themselves and each other, one another. I want you to smoke on this weekend. Human beings viciously go after other human beings. We're all created from God and by God, right? But yet human beings treat each other like animals. And this is family members to family members, husband and wife relationships, worker relationship, church relationship. It doesn't matter. Human beings, government, local and state, federal government, worldwide government, human beings are mean and nasty and evil, and they live to hurt themselves and others. Don't you question why that is? Acting like animals. Human beings treat each other worse than animals treat each other. They go below the animals. Don't you question why? It's because it's good versus evil. An evil human being have nothing else to do but try to destroy other human beings because Satan is their God. They don't forgive. God said forgive. Satan said hate. Satan said go after. And what's happening in my country today is mind-blowing. It doesn't have to be though. But I understand it. But human beings are cruel and nasty. God said, don't trust any human being. You cannot trust anyone. Zero. Nobody. I don't care what the titles are. Do not trust anyone. Married or unmarried, it doesn't matter. Do not trust. The human heart is wicked. Angry people are murderers. In a spiritual sense and sometimes a physical. But some of the stories I've heard over the last 30-something years of counseling and just meeting people out on the streets and talking to them, I had no idea that human beings can do each other that bad. I just didn't know. I knew stupid stuff happens, right? But it gets to wickedness. And 99.9% of the time, but not all, it's from people you know, not strangers. But yes, you can encounter evil strangers too. But never call anyone good and never trust a human being. Don't even trust yourself. Listen to this. This is from healthline.com. I want you to know it's not you, it's the evil in you. It's the heart, it's the spirit of evil working through you. You're neither good nor bad, but it's the thing that's worked through you that causes you to do what you do. Headline.com. Some of you might not be, I was a little surprised, but yet not surprised. Headlines.com. Headline. While men make up around 50% of the U.S. population, while men make up around 50% of the U.S. population, they comprise nearly 80% of suicides. While men make up around 50% of the population, they comprise nearly 80% suicides. What went wrong? What went wrong? What is wrong? That's evil, folks. That many men committed suicide. It should be all over the news everywhere, but I don't even hear anything about it. My producer gave me this. That's the only way I know about it. 50% of the population made up by men, around 50%, of the U.S. population, 80%, nearly 80% committed suicide, taking their own lives. Men, you got to learn how to deal with the issues of life because Satan is working in your mind and emotion, and you have fear, and he's telling you to kill yourself, take your own life. But then he also using other people to encourage you to do it, his children. But you don't have to do it. Stop listening to the voices of the mind, of the imagination. All thoughts are all lies, all the time about anything. And since you're not guilty of anything, you're neither good nor bad, why take credit for the devil's work? Amazing. 80% of men, nearly 80% committed suicide. And nobody cares. If 80% of women, it used to be mostly women committed suicide, right? It was heard of, it was talked about. But where's the conversation about men committing suicide? That's abnormal for men to commit suicide. The roles have switched. And men are under attack. You got to be strong. You got to be willing to stand alone. You got to be willing to let go of anyone or anything. Don't be attached to anything. Don't get a sense of identity from anything. You got to know when to walk away. You got to know, and you will if you live in the presence of the Father. Foster reported that a Pennsylvania woman sent unrelenting texts urging her ex to kill himself until he finally took his own life. The estranged couple fought about money and custody of the child. Watch this from CBS.
According to state police troopers who were part of this investigation, they say some of the bullying and messages were the worst they've ever seen in a case like this.
This is the next level or the most extreme amount of bullying that I've seen, read about, heard about anywhere, where someone is constantly telling someone to end their life.
35-year-old Mandy Roosh of Greensburg is accused of telling her ex-boyfriend to take his own life on several occasions. The messages threatened the ex he would never see their daughter, owed Roosh money, and some messages contained explicit images, videos, or themes.
You're talking about probably the three of the biggest triggers you could have when it comes to trying to make someone feel awful.
Troopers were called out to the man's apartment in June of 2021 after friends became concerned about his well-being. The Westmoreland County DA says Roosh's ex may still be alive today if those messages hadn't encouraged him to take his own life.
My God, if we're going to start prosecuting people for sending harsh texts to one another versus it being verbally communicated, then we're in a different path in our legal system.
Amazing. And I was thinking about that. That was, if it's true, was evil for that female to do that. Of course. That's why she did it, because she's evil. That's why people try to hurt one another and themselves, because they're evil. That was evil, but you can't really blame her for doing it. What was wrong with him that he allowed another human being to affect him in that way? The problem with him, the problem is inside of him. What was wrong with him that, if it's true, he allowed someone to convince him to take his own life? Yes, it was evil for her to do it, but it was evil that he did it. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like killing yourself? Satan said, you know what, you might as well just take your life. You're not worth anything. Nobody cares about you. Everybody looking at you. You might as well take your life. That's what the devil does. And he uses other people to encourage that, and he works on your mind to influence you to do that. It's spiritual. That's amazing, huh? You can't blame that woman all the way because, yes, you were doing evil work. If that's true, her heart is evil if she did it. But something wrong with his heart, he fell for it. If it's true. Foster reported at least once she sent him a video of herself having sex with another man and referred to other men as the new dad of his daughter. If that's true, he was too attached. He was too attached to her. She was his God. And she knew it. If she sent this type of video to him, she knew that she was his God and she could hurt him. Stop making idol gods. You shall have no other God but God. God wasn't playing about that. Every other God would try to destroy you, and will in most cases. Human beings are evil. They lie in wait to see who they can devour. Because they're evil. Their nature is evil. Trust no human being. Zero. Not even your mama and your daddy. Only trust the Father. And believe me, in doing that, you'll be able to enjoy, you'll be able to hang out, but you won't identify with. Amazing. She told him somebody else, your dad, a new dad for his daughter. But if he wasn't attached to the daughter, he was like, oh, okay, y'all can have her. And last report on that, Fox was reporting 2 days before Father's Day in 2021, he wrote to his friend, it's bad. It's bad. It's really bad right now. I can't do this. He left behind a suicide note, which began with, maybe she's right, or maybe she was right. Maybe she was right. The devil got to him. You might well kill yourself. Your daughter got a new dad. This woman sending you pictures of herself. She writing you might well take your own life. Say, like, go ahead. You might well do it. A voice that sounded like his, emotions that felt like his own, but they were not. Human beings are evil. You're dealing with evil, and they've been sugar-coated with fancy words, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder. They have covered up evil by giving it different names. So and you think all you need is a pill. Nope, a pill will not solve spiritual issues. You got to overcome the anger, and you need a renewed mind. All thoughts, all lies, all the time, and they are never yours. You don't create thoughts. You're not the owner of them. The voices are not yours. They're all evil. The so-called good one and the bad one. A spiritual battle. Do what you want, and a lot of people are waking up to this. They just didn't know. And once they heard the truth, something rang clear in them. They're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then to others, they're like, they reject the truth. They love hell. And they love trying to keep you in hell with them. All who come through the mother have issues, right? But they think their issues, my issue is a little better than theirs. Let me bring them back in hell with me. What a mess!